Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for the season of Jane the Virgin, because Jane the Virgin had their season finale back on Monday, and I meant to review it to you then, but I just had other things I wanted to review. I want to review the Mad Max movies, and I want to watch Girl Meets World, and I meant to review it yesterday, but I didn't get a chance to, so I figured, you know what, I have to review it, because a lot of people are saying this is probably the best finale that the CW has done this week, and maybe the best season finale of the year. I definitely want to talk about the season overall, what I thought of the season, where we're heading for next season, and definitely that's something I want to talk about. Now, first of all, let me say that I never thought that I would enjoy the show as much as I did. I definitely will say that. I mean, if you look back at my review for the premiere, I said this is going to be the most surprising show of the year. It still is the most surprising show of the fall. Seriously, it is. It's still the most surprising show probably on TV now. I still can't believe that the show is as good as it is, because this show never had a single bad episode. And that's something that I never thought I'd say about the show. I mean, this is a show where it seemed like it could have gotten tired. The narrating could have gotten tired. The meta part of the show could have gotten tired. It just seemed like a show that could get tiring. And you know what? Not a single episode was bad. Every episode this season was great and very funny and provided something new, and I loved it, and had some very good themes, and really brought me to some new conclusions about the show, which I definitely really enjoyed. I have to say, this was a fantastic first season. I loved everything about this first season. And I'm gonna basically talk about everything that happened from episodes 11 to episode 22, which aired this week. So let's get into this season overall. So if you guys remember, at the end of the first half of the season, Alba was tripped down the stairs by Magda, Petra's mother, who we find out is not actually in a wheelchair. And Alba is in a coma, and they're not really sure if she's going to wake up. And I have to say, the mid-season premiere I thought was really good, because it actually brought some really good emotion to the show, which the show has some really emotional moments, but this is definitely one of the more emotional episodes of the show, because they're all grieving over her, and they don't really know if she's going to live. I personally didn't think she was going to live through it, but the thing about this episode is the faith that this episode had. It really brings all the characters closer. I think this is really the episode where Jane and Rafael get a lot closer. I mean, they already were very close, but we definitely start to see that he's there for her, and there's this huge storm that happens and everything. But because of the faith they have, they do end up waking Alba up, which was great. And Xo actually wakes her up by saying this prayer that she will not have sex with anyone if she wakes up, and basically that's what their plan is. So Xo now has to keep this promise to Alba, which I thought was very funny. But of course, Alba has no recollection of what happened to her and the whole thing with Magda. She doesn't remember any of this. So she kind of just goes through a fresh new start after she, after she pretty much wakes up. She kind of goes through a fresh new start after this happens. So basically that's what happens with Alba. And, sorry, that was my friend who just called me on Skype, but basically, okay, so basically that whole thing happens, and I love also the whole thing with the hurricane in Miami. I thought that was really well done. And meanwhile, of course, I'll talk about Sin Rostro a little bit, but, the biggest storyline of this season, honestly, was between Jane and Rafael's relationship and how strong it is between them. I have to say, this wasn't superficial. One of the things the CW tends to do is make it very love triangle, and while there is a definite love triangle in the show, they don't make it in a way that it's overly done. In fact, it's very realistic the way it's handled. That's something I love about Jane the Virgin, is that it's not allowed to do very realistic storylines. And I have to say that the storylines between Jane and Rafael are very realistic, because they are just trying to stay together. They're trying to be a couple, but there's a lot going on with them. Of course, Rafael is still a suspect for Sin Rostro, because they don't know who Sin Rostro is. And also, Rafael has a lot of time on his hands working with Petra, I have to say, a lot of this season, you really start to care more for her character, and you start to see more layers of Petra throughout this season. Eventually, there's this guy that this guy that she had a connection to comes back. One of her I believe, Petra's past. There's this guy Milos, and he's this gangster Milos, and he's her former lover who basically wants to win her back any way he can, which includes Magda's secret that she has been keeping from her. Basically she didn't know that Magda could walk, and I thought it was really interesting the way we saw that. And there's even a scene where it looks like Magda almost killed Petra, and I thought that she legitimately killed her, but she didn't. By the way, we know her real name's Natalia, but she goes by Petra, so I'm going to call her Petra, even though you guys are saying, why aren't you calling her Natalia? She goes by Petra, so I'm calling her Petra. So, Magda did end up I thought she legitimately killed her, but we find out that it was fake, and they only did that to scare Milos, and the question is, was she actually going to work with Magda? I like that Petra did eventually put her foot down and said, no, I'm not working with you. Because this actually brings her and Rafael a lot closer. You definitely see that she does definitely want to win Rafael back. You definitely do see that. But I have to say, I really like the friendship between these two. Definitely something I liked watching was the friendship between these two that they had. I thought it was really well done, I have to say, because she actually helped him a lot with his relationship with Jane, and also brought her and Jane closer together, which is something I definitely really enjoyed watching. I have to say, I thought that was very well done. Something else I thought was really good was Jane and Michael. Their whole thing, they actually get a lot closer as friends in the second half of the season, because Raphael's away a lot, and he has a lot of side things to do, while Michael is there for Jane. You kind of see that he, isn't better than Raphael, but just knows Jane more and is there more for her, and they start to get closer, and you're kind of wondering, you still see that he definitely does still have feelings for her. He does want to win her back, but it's not done in a way where it's annoying, because you can understand why he wants to win her back. He knows he screwed up, and he feels like Raphael isn't right for her, and I can understand that. Jane wants commitment. That's what she wants in a relationship. She wants commitment, and she feels that Raphael was good for that. But her and Raphael were going through a lot of different things at the time, and, probably the best thing about the season that I have to say, though, is that this season, honestly, is about life. It really is, honestly. The plots this season, I can't really talk about them individually because it's about life. That's what this show's about. It's about the life of Jane and her family. That's really what it's about. And there's crazy twists that happen, but of course, that's just because it's a fun show, and that's something I definitely loved watching, was seeing Jane's life unravel, how all this stuff affected her life. For example, there's this great episode with Rogelio, who very quickly, I have to say, Rogelio's probably become my favorite character on the show. I think that he was just great on this show. Honestly, I loved his character the first half, but the second half of the season, he just got so funny because he actually ends up losing his job in the telenovela because basically Jane's trying to get it back for him, and I like that Jane showed him that this wasn't the end, that he's trying to, basically put himself back on top, but you do start to see that he doesn't care as much about it because he cares more about connecting with Jane and starting a legitimate relationship with Xo, which that's something I definitely enjoyed watching, was their impending relationship. Xo and Raphael's relationship, Xo and Rogelio's relationship was very strong, I have to say. I definitely enjoyed watching it. I thought it added some new layers to the show that I don't think we explored before, and because they were silly characters, I like that they weren't afraid to handle serious storylines with them. That's definitely something I didn't think they do, but I thought was very well done that they weren't afraid to do that, and that's definitely something I liked watching a lot. I thought that was really good. Definitely something I enjoyed. I have to say, I thought that was really good overall. So, I thought that was also a really good storyline. I will definitely get more into these storylines. Another storyline that comes up, of course, is the whole thing with Sin Rostro. Michael is still investigating Sin Rostro with Nadine. They're trying to figure out who Sin Rostro is. And Raphael's mother is getting a lot more suspicious of his father and is starting to think that his father is the one that did it. However, we then eventually find out, and probably one of the best twists the show could have given us, that Rose, not only, Louisa does eventually, by the way, get out of the mental institution, which I thought was well done. I actually enjoyed that storyline a lot more here because it made a lot more sense here on why she did what she did. We find out that Rose is actually Sin Rostro. She's been Sin Rostro the whole time. She actually ends up killing her husband and walks away completely innocent. No one suspects it was her. And I love that. And that is the same girl that plays Dottie on Agent Carter. Such a badass, I have to say. She's such an awesome character. And I love the way the narrator reacts as well. He's like, I have no idea what to say. I'm surprised as you are. And I have to say, the other thing about the show that I love was the narrator. The narrator got funnier and funnier as the show went on. Because the narrator became less of just a voice that is a narrator and more of someone that's reacting to the show. That's really what it felt like. It felt like that character. It felt like the friend that you sit next to. You know when you're watching a show and there's someone who's basically telling you everything that happened or is trying to like back you up and is just being that one person that just is in love with this show. That's basically a narrator. I think it was really funny the way they did that. Definitely something I thought was really funny because it could have just been a boring narrator, but no, they try to add it where it's more like a fan watching the show, and I thought that was really funny, I have to say, and definitely something I really enjoyed watching. Also, the beginning segments where we found out how it connected to the episode, like seeing Jane's past, I thought was also very well done. That's something I thought they did very well, and added a lot of layers to the show as well, which I definitely love seeing. Jane and Rafael, though, let's go back to them. Things do end up getting pretty crazy between them because Rafael just has really hard stuff at work to go through, and they also are arguing a lot about this baby. You know, do they really want it in their life? I mean, Rafael really wants to be there for this baby, but of course, Jane can understand that he has a lot in his life, but she really wants him to be there for the baby and wants him to support this baby. And, you know, they're trying to get back together. In fact, Jane tries to spice up their relationship a little bit, but just other things keep getting in the way with his work and this whole Sin Rostro thing that he's going through. So eventually he tells her that they do need to end things, and it's a very heartbreaking scene that he tells her they do need to end things, and she legitimately is very upset with him, which you can understand why she's so upset at him, but she is very upset about what he says to her, and what he doesn't tell her, though, is that he does love her, and he doesn't tell her that he's really doing this because it's for the best of them, and he did it because he didn't have the heart to tell her that he still loved her, and he just couldn't not tell her that, so he didn't tell her that, and it really left her heartbroken, and I don't really see these two getting back together anytime soon. I do like that they are still trying to make an effort to be friends and be parents for this child. That's something I liked watching, but I never expected the show to go that far. I expected Jane and Rafael to be like the big, you know, couple of this show. What I like is that that's very predictable for the CW to do, because CW usually what they do is they get a couple together and they stay together until they break up and then they go back to someone else. That is not at all what Jane the Virgin is, and that's something I thought was very well done, something I definitely really enjoyed. It's very mature writing, I have to say. Definitely something I thought wasn't going to happen, was that was very mature writing, because we don't only focus on Jane and Raphael's relationship, but also Jane's whole thing with this baby, but also her moving on with her life. You know, she gets a job, and she realizes that she wants to become a writer, and one of my favorite parts of the season was seeing her passion in writing, and Gina Rodriguez getting an Emmy, they really used it to their advantage a lot. They started to realize that the biggest thing about the show, the thing that works the best, is Gina Rodriguez. I have to say, she's a great actress, she's very funny, and she constantly gives amazing performances every episode. I think that's why the show is just as good as it is, because of Gina Rodriguez, and just everything she did was hilarious, I have to say, and one of the things I loved about her character was we would see, like, her basically develop this story with this character of Juana, who is basically who Jane wants to be. That's why her name is Juana, because she wants to be like this character. She's a lot more attractive than Jane, which Jane's not attractive. Jane's attractive, but she's a lot more, like, promiscuous. Men love her. It's basically who Jane would want to be, and I think it was a really good storyline. It was very funny at points as well, because there are times where she's like, I would have told Rafael this, but it's not like that, and it really brings us back to reality, and shows that this is a very realistic show, and I definitely love seeing that. I think it was very well done the way they handled that. Definitely something I liked watching about the show. And also her concern about this baby. Is she going to be a good mother? That's something else I like that she was questioning, is that, you know, is she really going to be as good as a mother as she thinks she's going to be? Definitely something I enjoyed watching, and I thought was very well done. I have to say, I thought that was really good overall. Now, the other big storyline that comes up is Roman Zazzo's twin brother arrives in town, Aaron. Now, Aaron, of course, they don't really have, they have a lot going on in their lives as well, because basically Petra actually discovers to make a way to make Raphael's life more miserable when she returns with her confidence, because she basically wants to take ownership of the hotel now. Of course, that's really what she wants to do. But she ends up basically realizing that this guy, Aaron, is not Aaron. It's Roman. And the way she realizes that this is Roman is by the way he says these words to her. So, of course, if you remember, she cheated on Raphael with Roman, and we realize that Roman never died. Roman was alive this whole time. Yes, it's kind of weird, but I thought they handled it very well, because Petra honestly becomes a badass in this next scene. I mean, she tries to have sex with him, but then she tells him that she's fooling him, and he ends up getting impaled for real this time. It was very well done the way they did that. I loved watching that, and I thought overall that was very well done. Definitely something I liked watching a lot. Another one of my favorite shows this season involves Xo and Rogelio. They have some really good stuff this season. As I said, I really like their impending relationship, because they go through some very adult issues. First of all, there's this other guy that comes up in Zoe's life, and they basically have this whole thing where they never actually said "I love you" to each other. Like, they want you, but they just haven't really said it. And a lot of couples can relate to this because it takes a while to say those words. And I like this show really touched upon that. They never said "I love you," and they want to say "I love you," but they didn't. And there's a great episode where they're just going through a whole episode, but Xo really doesn't think Rogelio loves her because he doesn't say that to her. So she actually kisses this other guy and doesn't tell Rogelio about it. And eventually Rogelio reveals to Xo that he actually kissed another girl, but when he finds out that Xo kissed this other guy, he is very upset with her, and they actually do break up, and I can understand why they broke up. I can totally understand. I mean, they were going through a lot, and he really felt betrayed, honestly. Like, he shared that secret with her. She couldn't have been honest with him. He really was upset about it, and I can understand why he wasn't happy about, what she said to him. I can totally understand. I thought that was very well done, I have to say. I thought that was definitely a very good storyline. So, but I have to say that one of my favorite parts of Rogelio's thing is his bonding with Michael. Oh my god, their partnership, absolutely hilarious. I really hope we get more of that in Season 2. I love their friendship that they made when they basically became, as Rogelio called it, started a bromance. I thought that was hilarious. And, but yeah, Xo and Rogelio do end up breaking up, but they do end up staying friends because they do have a concert together. And Rogelio becomes doing this very successful space TV show, but he actually ends up quitting it because his other TV show wants him back, and basically that's not really, they focus more on Xo and Rogelio, which I thought was very well done. I definitely really enjoyed watching that as well, and I thought that was really good. But yeah, so all that happens, and eventually, after Jane and Rafael break up, she realizes that she wants to get full custody of her child. She doesn't want Rafael in her child's life, and basically she wants to get sole custody. And, Zoe's trying to tell us it's a bad idea and everything. I like that she didn't go through with it, because that would not have been the right thing to do. You have to have Rafael in this child's life at some point. It is his baby. It was meant to be him and Petra's baby, so I like that she did think about that. And I also like how this affected her and Petra. Petra was obviously very upset. I understand that Petra wants to be with Rafael, but I also did feel bad for Petra. I did. I mean, all she really wanted was this kid, and now even though Jane, she supports Jane on this, it does show that these two definitely, their relationship has changed a lot. In fact, she actually ends up helping Rafael talk to Jane about what's going on. He just can't really tell her. And you see there are scenes where it seems like they're going to get back together, but he just can't really tell her that he still does love her. He can't do her now. I definitely feel like he's going to at some point, but for right now, he can't. And I thought that was very well done. And I definitely really enjoyed that. And the final twist we're going to talk about before we get to the finale is, of course, with Michael and Nadine. Michael and Nadine, of course, were investigating Sin Rostro's case. And Michael realizes that Nadine was actually working with Sin Rostro, but he doesn't tell her. I love the way that Michael actually does end up handling this. He doesn't tell her, but he keeps this advice to himself and basically is going to rat out her eventually. And now we're going to get to the season finale, which was oh my god, such a huge finale. A lot to talk about in this finale, and there's a lot to talk about definitely in this finale. Now, the finale really made me love the show even more than I did. Not only did I love the show, not only did I love the show, but this twist, I have to say, like, the twist in this finale, oh my god, I can't wait for next season. It really put me right into next season. Like I said with Arrow, this is what you should do in a season finale, is make you more hyped for a season finale, and for the next season. This is totally what this season finale did. Because, of course, I love that the whole season finale focused on Jane having her baby. We knew this was going to happen, and I love that she went into false labor, and she thought she was going to be okay for the show. However, when they leave, of course, she does go into real labor. But, of course, Xo and Rogelio are at their show in Las Vegas, and I love how much they touched upon their relationship. I have to say, another thing I love about the show is the characters' relationships. That's something I think is also very strong about the show, is the way they handled these characters' relationships. Jane and Xo's, very powerful mother-daughter relationship. They always are going to be that close. They're always going to have that bond, and I definitely really enjoyed watching that. And at times, yeah, they are best friends, and that's fine. I love seeing them be like that. I think it's really great that Xo's character is like that, and I think, honestly, Xo's character came very far from this really dumb, hilarious, fun mom to a really great character, I have to say. I think I really like what they did with her character, because I thought they were going to give her a music career, which they do, but it's more about her and Jane, which I think is really well done. Also, Alba and Zoe's relationship I thought was really good. Rogelio and Zoe's, just all the characters' relationships overall. I think that's another thing that really makes this show as good as it is. But Jane actually enlists Michael to help her deliver the baby, and I like that Rafael and Michael decided to put things aside, because they don't like each other. Obviously, they don't. Michael doesn't think Rafael's the right guy for Jane. He doesn't really trust Rafael right now, which I can understand, because they still don't know who Sin Rostro is. They don't know that it's Rose. They don't know this, and, basically, we see that they actually end up helping Jane deliver the baby. Jane does eventually deliver her baby, and she has a boy, which I thought was really funny because they have no experience with a boy. And I like that Zoe did eventually get to see Jane deliver a baby, because that's obviously something Zoe wanted to see. But Jane has a boy, and she decides to name it Mateo. But they had this whole thing where Rafael wanted for the baby to have his last name in there. So she did put his last name there. In fact, the baby's full name, let me find it. What is the baby's full name? It's a very long name, but I like that I like what she did with the name. I have to say, it probably was one of the cutest parts of the episode. Okay, let me find it. Mateo, Gloriano, Virgilio, Sotano, Solano, Villanueva, which I thought was a great name. I love that she put Rafael's name in there, and Virgilio's name as well. He was very happy about that, and I love maybe going to be called Virgilio. Is he going to have some sort of that in him? And I thought that was really funny when we saw that, and I thought overall that was just really funny. So I love that she did that. I thought that was very well done. But of course, she doesn't get to have moments with this kid, because this nurse comes in and says that the baby is due for sound and they need to do a hearing test, which sounds legit, but I knew there was something about this nurse. The second she said that, I'm like, why is she just randomly coming in here after Jane had the baby? Like, that wouldn't make sense. Takes the baby, gives it to Sin Rostro, aka Rose. She kidnaps the baby, drives away, and the baby's gone. Baby's gone, baby's kidnapped, and Jane needs to now find Mateo, who she just had, and she had this huge connection to, and she even told Rafael and Michael that she doesn't really want to talk about them right now. She wants to focus on Mateo, and I loved Michael's advice to her to tell her to focus on Mateo. I thought that was really good. But now Mateo's gone, and that's not good, obviously. And the worst part of this is Nadine, because Michael and Nadine, he was interrogating her, making it seem like he trusted her, and he didn't, it seemed like he was going to, it seemed like he was going to leave her handcuffed in the room when he was going to basically tell her that he knew everything that happened, and, of course, no one alive knows what Sin Rostro looks like now to be able to track her, because Rose has actually undergone plastic surgery since fleeing from the hotel. So they don't know who Sin Rostro is, and I like that. That's something I love about Sin Rostro. I definitely feel we're going to focus a lot more on that, because, of course, we don't know what she even looks like. We know that she underwent plastic surgery, which kind of sucks, because I really love the actress that played Rose, but I understand that that's probably the best thing to do, is that Sin Rostro's 2 steps ahead of them. So Michael was a few steps ahead of Nadine, though, because he actually put a tracker in her phone, because she actually breaks free, of course, unhandcuffs herself, but he put a tracker in her phone when she was basically begging for license in exchange for Sin Rostro information, and he pretended to trust her the whole time and let her go on, knowing that tracking her would get them much closer to the drug lord, that relying on Nadine telling the truth. So now he knows that Nadine was working with Sin Rostro, and I have to say, that was awesome right there. When we found out that Michael knew the whole time, I thought that was awesome when we saw that. And that's not the only twist. There are 2 more twists, one of them very funny, and the other one I don't know what's really going to happen here. Because Xo and Rogelio, they're looking over the tape of what happened, and they see that they got very drunk the last night, and they see that something happened. We find out that they were so drunk that they actually married each other. So yes, Xo and Rogelio are married now, but they're not together. So are they going to stay together? Are they going to get divorced? I kind of see them trying to make this work. I could definitely see it happening. I could see these 2 maybe want to make this work, because they never actually got married. They want to be there for Jane. Jane can actually have married parents in her life, which I think would be a really interesting twist if they did that. That could be very cool for the show. But for right now, they actually got married, and I thought that was really funny. And then the other twist is that Petra finds the rest of Rafael's semen sample that didn't go into, that wasn't inseminated into Jane, and she actually has his semen sample. What she's going to do with it, I don't know. But apparently it's going to change the show. They're saying this is going to be a game-changing moment. I don't know what she's going to do with it, but I guess we'll have to see. And oh my god, next season is going to be amazing. I cannot wait for next season. And I have to say, there were so many things that were so great about the show. Another thing that I loved about the show constantly was the humor. It got funnier and funnier as it went on. Every character, I love it they made these characters have funny moments and also sad moments. They weren't afraid to put emotion into the show. They weren't afraid to invest in these characters. They made us love these characters. They made us hate these characters at some point, but they overall just made a really entertaining show, which honestly became one of my favorite shows on TV, honestly. The episode where we revealed that Rose was Sin Rostro, I'm like, that was an awesome twist. I never saw that coming, and I'm very happy that they did that. I'm happy that they did that, and I like that Nadine was actually, you know, not working with Michael. I thought that was very well done as well. So there's a lot to definitely talk about. What is Jane going to do about Mateo being taken? Obviously, I don't know if she knows right now, but how does she find out? I'm not really sure. I don't really know how she's going to find out. I mean, obviously, she has to find out eventually. Jane's not stupid, but we'll have to see what happens there. Xo and Rogelio, now that they're married, are they going to try to stay together, or what do you think is really going to happen there? I'm not really sure. I guess we'll have to see. Definitely there's going to be tension between Rafael and Michael. I know there's still going to be tension between these two, but I definitely feel like they're going to have to put their feelings aside for her and help her out here, and I definitely feel like there's going to be a lot more of that next season. In fact, I kind of see a team-up between Rafael, Jane, and Michael teaming up to find Mateo. I could definitely see them doing that, because obviously Rafael wants to be in Mateo's life, while Michael wants Jane to be there for Mateo, and I like seeing that. They both have very different motives. They both really do love Jane. They just have very different motives, which I like seeing. And what is Petra going to do with Rafael's semen sample? I'm not really sure what's going to happen here, but I'm very interested in seeing what she's going to do with it. But overall, guys, I absolutely loved this first season. I think it was an amazing first season. I'm so surprised that a show called Jane the Virgin could be this good. But what made it this good is just the characters and how funny the show is. And not just the characters, but how entertaining it is, and the music, and not the, what am I saying, music? I don't know why I'm saying music, but the directing was great. The screenplay is just hilarious. It got funnier and funnier as it went on, and it was never boring as well. And I love that each episode sort of taught some sort of life lesson, and I thought that was very well done as well. The narrating got funnier and funnier as it went on. The storylines get more and more intriguing, and overall just built to a really satisfying finale that I cannot wait for season 2. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next season. I will still be not reviewing it individually. Definitely I will be doing what I did this year, next year as well, but I'm definitely looking forward for, season 2, which I really sucks, so we have to wait for season 2, but I'm very happy that it ended as good as it did. But that's basically my review. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys saw this season overall. I can't wait for next season. I will see you guys in the next video, which will be for another classic mirror review, and I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.